Hey guys, happy Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever you're watching this. This will go over the first couple of more properties of exponents. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look at number one, okay, which is this. It is x to the negative 2, x to the negative 3 quantity to the fourth power. So according to your order of operations, what would you do first? Well, typically you would do what's inside the parentheses, right? So what am I doing with these two x's, these two variables? Well, if they're right next to each other, I'm naturally multiplying them, okay? So I have x to the negative 2 times x to the negative 3, okay? So how do I multiply variables or entities with like bases? Well, I simply take the powers and I do what with them? I add them. So negative 2 plus negative 3 is equal to negative 5. So what do I get out of all of this, out of this multiplication? I get x to the negative 5. Okay, so I'm going to write that now. So I have quantity x to the negative 5, close parentheses, to the fourth power. Okay? X to the negative 5, quantity to the fourth. Now, let's think about what this 4 means now, because there's nothing else I can really do inside the parentheses. I've done enough already. Well, if you want to, what you could do is you could actually write this as a fraction, because you have a negative power. But let's take this route. Let's just consider this 4 and go from there. So what does to the fourth power mean? That means I'm going to multiply this guy by itself, the x to the negative 5, 4 times. So that would be equal to x to the negative 5 times x to the negative 5 times x to the negative 5 times x to the negative 5. So I have a string of x to the negative 5's all being multiplied together. How would I simplify this? Well, as we just discussed up here, whenever you multiply variables with like bases, in this case it's x, what do you do with all the powers? You simply add them. So I have negative 5 plus negative 5 plus negative 5 plus negative 5, which is equal to negative 20. So I have x to the negative 20. Now, am I finished? Well, technically I can take this a step further, because whenever you have a negative power, what you can do is you can rewrite it as a fraction. So this is the same thing as 1 over x to the positive 20. Okay? So that's about, right here is about as far as you can take it, at 1 over x to the positive 20. Let's do another one, and hopefully it'll really start to stick. Let's do number 2 now. So on number 2, you're given the following. X to the fourth quantity to the negative 3 times 2x to the fourth. What we're going to do first is we are just going to ignore this guy, okay? We're just going to concentrate on the first part, x to the fourth to the negative 3. Now notice there's nothing we can really do in the parentheses. We're just given a single variable to a single power. So let's now figure out what to do with this to the negative 3 power. Well, if the negative 3 were a positive 3, what would that mean? That would mean you would simply be multiplying x to the fourth by itself 3 times. But now we have a negative. What does that mean again? Well, that means that we're going to make this a fraction, or we can make it a fraction with x to the fourth in the denominator to the positive 3 power. So what would that come out to be? That would come out to be 1 over positive, or x to the fourth, to the positive 3 power. Okay? Come out to be this. Notice I went from a negative up here. By putting it in the denominator, it turned into a positive 3. Okay? And I still have my times 2x to the fourth power. Okay? Now let's deal with this guy right here. X to the fourth to the third power. What does that mean? Well, that simply means I'm multiplying x to the fourth by itself. How many times? 3 times. So that's going to be 1 over, we can't forget about our 1 in the numerator, x to the fourth times x to the fourth times x to the fourth. okay? Got this guy. 1 over x to the 4th times x to the 4th times x to the 4th. That's what this means, this power of 3, okay? And we can't forget about our times 2x to the 4th. Now you guys should be able to take it from here. What is x to the 4th times x to the 4th times x to the 4th? It's x to the 12th, because we simply add the powers, times 2x to the 4th. Now let's think about this right here. What would I do with this now? I have 1 over x to the 12th times 2x to the 4th, and how do I actually multiply those? Well, let's think about it this way. I know how to multiply fractions. If I have a fraction times another fraction, I know how to multiply those pretty easily. But is there any way to make this a fraction? Yes, there is. I can simply put it over 1. And how do you multiply fractions again? Well, you simply just multiply straight across. So 1 times 2x to the 4th is simply 2x to the 4th over x to the 12th times 1, which is simply x to the 12th. Now, am I done? I'm almost done, okay? Because now I'm dividing powers with like bases. So x to the 4th divided by x to the 12th, I subtract the powers, and that would give me x to the negative 8th. Because 4 minus 12 is negative 8, and I can't forget about my 2. So here's what I have. I have 2x to the negative 8. Now there's one more thing I can do, because this 8 is negative. So what does that mean again? That means I move it into the denominator. Do I move the 2 also? No, because the 2 doesn't have a negative power. Its power is positive. Its power is positive 1. So I move the 8 into the denominator. So what would that look like? Well, the 2 stays up top, and the x to the 8th moves into the denominator, and therefore my answer would be that 2x to the positive 8 power. Okay, guys, the solutions are posted online. If you just click on the PDF document, you'll be able to look at every single one of them just to see if you're on the right track. We'll see you tomorrow or Wednesday. Thank you.